This video is going to be about one nice little shamanic practice, if you want to call it that name, that is able to, act as sort of a calming meditation and maybe a filtering of thoughts. So when we are feeling, I guess the hustle and bustle is getting to us, or we're trying to sort out and come to a decision on something maybe, or just find a moment of calm within the hubbub and sometimes hectic craziness of life. This kind of practice can really be useful. I used to do it a lot more than now in my, I guess some years ago, and I guess maybe I'm kind of going to be going back into it as more of a, thing to do more habitually. So with that, I'm going to mention the object here, and then we can go into a small meditation. Ultimately, it's working best when you do it yourself. Get your own candle and, have all the time and make a nice space for yourself. Watching someone else do something on the computer screen or whatever doesn't maybe give the right justice, of course, to to everything. So the small flame here and the candle sort of acts as maybe or can be called a mirror image for yourself. You'll see that the small flame can be maybe likened to your own soul spark, the life that is in you, the soul that is the life of you. And the candle itself, the waxy body, the substance of, is sort of like the body. And the soul spark, the life that is in us, slowly eats away, like the body is like a food for it, to call it that. And each life we have, each incarnation, is a lesson for us to hopefully learn with as much ease as possible. Fire itself is a very interesting and powerful element, as you know, capable of doing great things, capable of creating great warmth, capable of causing great destruction as well. And the reason I like to use a candle for shamanic purposes is that it gives me this simple, quiet meditation, and I use it for the intention of finding an inner peace. A lot of practices like yoga and Buddhism and other mystical practices basically throughout the world, the flame has always been very honored and respected. Some Buddhist monks and practitioners of Buddhism and whatnot often use this for a simple reflection as well, as for finding an inner peace. And in some cases in shamanism, a bigger flame can be used for the purposes of seeing and divination. Now, I can say to you that I personally have seen things within the flame. I've seen faces, and I've seen, most notably, one keeps repeating to me, and it is actually of the Virgin Mary. Now, I know there are a lot of people that, just to put a quick side note, who have a hard time distinguishing between the truth of any church or the lies of any church. But anyways, there are things to be seen, and sometimes when you think you've figured it out, it might be back the other way around after all. So just to say it that way. But anyway, that's my sharing of these experiences for now. Now, thinking of this light as your own soul, looking at the calmness, the overall peace, the slow burn. It is not a hasty or angry fire. This is just a very small flame, and this flame would take quite a long time to melt the wax of this candle. So for me, and in some forms of shamanic or mystical practice, this very much does show a mirror image of your soul spark in relationship to its body. So looking at the flame is a way to, and meditating upon the flame itself, just staring at it, is a very great form of focus meditation. Because what's happening is, instead of looking at tons of movement, tons of objects, tons of colors, many shiftings and variety of locomotion in any way, this is for the most part, very still and very calm. And looking at this object here externally does perhaps give a way of calming down the internal. Now I find that it very much does. I find this very relaxing. If you're having trouble doing a meditation, in the classical, I guess, definition of it, like closing your eyes and trying to get into a posture, that can be extremely difficult at the beginning, and I can testify to that. With some practice, it can become natural and you can get very good at it, and I have got good at it, although I don't typically do that form of practice too much anymore. Maybe at night when I sleep. But this one is has a very powerful, potent magic, has a very nice overall effect to it. And you can ask a question, or you can you can have an intention to gain some sort of answer or closure to a desire, or you may want to just simply find inner peace and quietness. This form of practice does very well. I typically would recommend white candles for the overall perhaps representation of what white could mean in a sort of a cleansing form or a pure form. You'll notice some black looking hairs. That's actually sweetgrass. Sometimes I take a twined up bundle of sweetgrass, a sweetgrass stick to call it that, I guess, or a wand to call it that, and use a candle to light it up instead of holding down the lighter. So that's what that is, just so you know. But yeah, that's a practice you can do. It's very effective. Don't let my shamanism be yours. Don't read something in a book and think it's the only way to do it. The great medicine men of the world will always tell you that, and I must repeat them, and I am not a great one. I'm trying to become very capable, and I still have work to do. But what I'm suggesting is, all the great masters have always said that the true shaman, the true medicine worker, the true healer will always have their own style that works for them. So I recommend you finding it. This particular form for me, to light a white candle and to have it as such as a practice, works for me very well. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you, but you can try it and see. If you're interested, there's certainly nothing to stop you. So there you have it. I'll let my voice stop for a second, just see, and you can just look at the flame for a minute or so. I might not go that long, but look at the overall presence of it and the power of calm. And you certainly might like to try doing it for yourself with your own candle, which is much better than a video. But here you go. Alright, have yourself a good moment. May your self-actualization come in more happy tones than in disruptive tones. And check out my other videos if you feel inclined. I'm going to have more on the way. Alright, bye.